Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Words of Hope devotional here on this wonderful April day, April the 29th. It's hard to believe that, or I'm sorry, I believe April 29th or April 28th. I get confused on my dates sometimes when you're disabled and don't have. Sometimes time is really hard to keep track of. But anyway, it is a beautiful, turning out to be a beautiful April day. We're going to continue our series on being bold for Christ and what the meaning of being bold for Christ is. Yesterday we talked about um, give a preface on what we're going to talk about this week. Today, I want us the letter B is what we're going to look at today, and the letter B to me being what Jesus made you to be, and that is to be sons and daughters of His. And of course, we know if you know Old Testament history, and we're not going to get into that a lot. We're not going to. I'll just give you a brief description. Jesus or God made His chosen people, the Jews, but and of course the Apostle Paul, who wrote the book of Romans, which is where we're going to go today, is the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 15. And Paul was a Jew; he was a Pharisee, but he was converted to Christianity through his Damascus experience on his way to Damascus to actually to punish Christians for following Christ, but was had a dramatic a drastic change, and then he was went on a lot of missionary journeys to reach the Gentiles, and we would be considered Gentiles. If we're not Jewish, we're Gentiles. So, in other words, a Gentile means that we're simply not Jewish. But Paul makes it very clear, and it's very important. Listen to this: that we understand that we are God's people also. Even though we are not Jewish, we are still adopted into His family. So we're going to look at verse 15. For you did not receive a spirit that makes you a slave again to fear, but you received the spirit of sonship, and by Him we cry, Abba, Father. Now look at that word sonship. The word sonship, in a better translation from the Greek, is adoption. It means to be adopted by God. So we could actually say it, for you did not receive a spirit that makes you a slave again to fear, but you received the spirit of adoption into God's family. That is really what it is saying. And in the Greeks in Roman times, to be adopted gave you full rights as a natural son. So even though we were not born as a natural Jew, we were not born as God's chosen, it it gives us full authority. It gives us all the inheritance, all the rewards that that He has given to the Jews that have accepted Him, that accept Him. So as adopted sons and daughters of Christ, we are a part of His family, and we have His inheritance of eternal life to look forward to. So therefore, as adopted sons and daughters, we need to, and since we have been transformed into His likeness and are made in His likeness, and need to continue to be made in His, and to continue to strive to be made in His likeness, to be holy, we need to share the gospel with others who may be without that hope of saying, I don't belong. Yes, they do. Everybody has the opportunity to share that sonship, that adoption. We all have the opportunity to be adopted sons and daughters of Christ. And we have that eternal rewards, and it's like as if we were a natural born child of God. And we are God's children, and He created us. He created each and every single one of us. But by the adoption, by the becoming part of sonship, we can receive the eternal rewards of that benefit. In other words, we need to have that relationship with Him. And that's something we need to share. In being bold for Christ, we need to share that everyone can be a part of His family. So, tomorrow we're going to look at the letter O, and that means going being outgoing enough to not be ashamed of being a Christ follower. I think sometimes we are ashamed. We tend to shy back from things because we don't want to be labeled, or we're afraid that people will reject us. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. But for today, remember that you are an adopted son or daughter of God if you have accepted His eternal gift of eternal life and accepted Jesus Christ as His Son and made a relationship with Him. If you have any questions, concerns, prayer requests, please drop me an email at wordsofhope@hopeministries.name, or you can visit our website at www.hopeministries.name and sign our guest book down there and look through the different links that we have and see what we're about as a nonprofit organization. But this is just a small part of what we do on our website is to offer devotionals to people that may be without a way of getting the gospel and stuff and that sort of thing. Um, so please join me tomorrow, and we'll talk about continuing our series on being bold for Christ. Thank you for joining me today. May you have a blessed day, and may you share the blessings of God of knowing that you are His child.